What is Agile Teamwork? Agile Teamwork is a collaborative effort of a group of individuals to work together to accomplish a goal. It requires the combination of diverse and unique skills, communication, and genuine trust to accomplish tasks that are either too large or too complex for a single individual to accomplish alone. Agile teamwork is the reason why you're going to be able to get much further in your career when you're working together on a team than you would be able to get when you're working on your own. It's the reason why your team at work is going to be more productive and more profitable than other teams in the company. And it's the reason why your company is going to be able to create profits that exceed expectations without having to cut costs in a manner that is inconsistent with growth. Agile teamwork is the secret ingredient. I've seen it in my career while serving in the United States Air Force as an aircraft mechanic and as a space officer. I've been a part of agile teams and I've also led agile teams. And there's a great many things that I would not have been able to accomplish as an Air Force officer if I didn't learn how to manage agile teams. I can tell you about many times when I was on shift, working up there at the 12th Space Warning Squadron up there in Greenland, where we were faced with a lot of things going on. We can't talk about all the details of what's going on a command center on shift, but there's a great many things that my team had to prioritize in order to be successful tracking and doing our mission. As a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms, agile teamwork was something that we used and we brought to every single engagement that we were in. I can tell you so many times where we're managing two, three, four, sometimes five projects. And some of the projects were particularly challenging. When you get behind schedule for many number of reasons, either the proposal process and the bidding process resulted in like uh, underestimating the scope, and the team was obviously understaffed. And then when you have a larger than expected scope and you don't have the talent resources to accomplish or to achieve that scope, a lot of times the project will get behind schedule. And then people like me are called in to turn things around and fix things. When you're working on a team like that and you're putting together that agile team on a project, you have to prioritize diverse skill sets to make sure that you have a testing lead, you have a functional lead, you have a project manager, you have someone who's going to manage the day-to-day engagement. But there are certain core team members that I had to make sure that my team had. And if we were missing one of those core skill sets, then obviously we need to get them in order for us to turn the project around. It wasn't just about making sure that we had the right staff. A lot of times we had to make sure that our communication was effective. Sometimes we would collaborate over email, over text. There was other chat channels that we were able to use, but essentially what I decided to do was establish a daily and a weekly cadence to our project meetings and our team meetings. And we had to learn how to be more efficient with the time that we spent engaging in those team meetings. A lot of times people are either bragging or talking about things that are completely irrelevant to to the productivity of our teams. Sometimes people are going down little rabbit holes and chasing the squirrels and all the other things that we talk about when we think about our organizational distractions. And I had to make sure that the team meetings that we had were efficient and our communication was effective. The functional team was making sure that we were getting the feedback that we needed from the client, and they were passing the project and the design requirements to the technical team. The technical team needed to build and develop the application and make sure that the core pieces and the components of the application that they were developing early on in the project were things that they wouldn't have to rework later on in the project when the additional scope was developed. So long story short, communication was it was many times a reason why a project would be falling behind schedule, and be many reasons why a project that is staffed correctly isn't successful. And so when I came in there, I would make sure that the communication was on point. Last thing I want to mention is genuine trust. A lot of times when a project is behind schedule or implementation is running behind and it's getting ready to exceed the allotted revenue that we had planned out for it, aside from managing the client expectations and making sure that we have coverage there, we had to make sure that we developed or reset genuine trust, not just the trust that we have with our project team while I am working on my role on the project, but also the trust that we have with our client. And to build trust, it's important to be transparent with what is happening, what the reality of the situation is. It is also important to be very transparent about the things that you're doing to mitigate the challenge or the issue that you're having. And then it's also important to establish a plan forward or a map of how things are going to get turned around. And that's exactly what I did. And I can't tell you how many projects I saved, how many fires I put out, how many situations I was able to convert into either revenue for my firm or profit for my clients by doing just that, by establishing genuine trust with my project team, my technical lead, my testing lead, my project management, my engagement lead, and also establishing genuine trust and a trusting relationship between myself and my client. There's been many times where certain touch points that my client has with my firm, several touch points would deteriorate. The interpersonal relationship would deteriorate, and the trust would be at a very low level. But the trust that I had with my client, the direct interpersonal trust that I had with the person that I was working with was very strong, and it provided dividends to the other relationships that my client had with my firm. When you're building an agile team, you're learning how to be an agile team member, and you're learning how to manage an agile team. Make sure that you focus on those three things. Focus on building genuine trust, focus on the communication, and also focus on bringing together diverse skills. There may be some people out there who say, diversity, equity, inclusion, that's crazy. No, you want diverse skills. You do. I can talk all day about this, but I know I have to let you go. Time is running short, but from this talk, I hope that you understand what agile teamwork is and why it is important. It can allow you to get ahead in your career. It'll allow your team to be able to exceed expectations as far as productivity and performance. And it'll also be able to enable your company and your firm to generate profits that exceed expectations without having to cut costs in a manner that is inconsistent with growth. That's my message for you today. I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. Thank you.